Good morning, Judd here. We've got a beautiful day here in Homosassa, Florida, and no rain today. Not that I begrudge the place some rain, but we've had lots of it the last few days, and it's very good for everything except for woodworking outside. So today we're going to get into sanding and moving ahead on replacing and repairing the railing on the front porch. And I had a comment, was this method better than just replacing the boards? In some cases it was, in some cases it wasn't. Where it wasn't, on this board, this definitely needed the repair, as did this 2x4, because replacing that would have been a real pain in the neck. It would have meant taking apart all of this. And filling in this one here was 50-50, but it saved me cutting that, and it was fairly easy to fill. Now the problem was over here on this board, this fill got very complicated and very messy, and you see I got a lot of cleanup work to do on here. What I should have done, or may have done if I hadn't already filled that, would be to simply cut off part of this board, use it to replace that, and put a whole new board in here. That probably would have been a more efficient way to go. But since I've already filled this, I'm going to go ahead and try to use it to clean it up and get it fitted in there, and then I'll just replace that section. So that's what we're looking at today. Going to be noisy, going to be vibraty. I don't know if the camera's going to be like zzz the whole time, because we're going to take the belt sander to a lot of stuff for a while. We'll see what happens. Okay, here we go. First we're going to clamp this up. Okay, now we'll start with that bottom side. This is my AEG 321 belt sander, 35 years old. The company doesn't even exist anymore, which is a shame because they made some really good stuff. At the time this was the state-of-the-art belt sander. I thought I had coarser grit, but the best I've got is 80. So we'll hope that that works. I'm going to get my headphones. Okay, we'll give you a close-up view on this. And you can see there's still a couple of holidays in there. Right here I've got a little gap. And I'll take care of that with window putty when I install this. And this side's clean. And you can see I've gotten right down to the wood. And a little missing on the corner there. So a couple of little gaps, but those will be handled with the wood putty when I install this thing, which is another trick I learned in this whole adventure of dealing with wood rot. Now I have to go down and clean this all up and get good mating surfaces on this all around. Take a look at what we got now. Nice smooth surfaces there. Nothing's going to get in the way of that board coming in. Now for an auto body that wouldn't be okay, but for this it's fine. This paint will take care of that. We've got the repaired space and the board pretty much cleaned up, and see how they fit. Okay. That's pretty much where they belong. So that's good. Next, for here, I've got to cut this board to fit and do the new joint. But first, we're going to go over to here and sand this down while I've got the belt sander out here. And once again, we'll show you the close-up views. You can clearly see my patch. Okay. And up here, you can see this is very nice. Okay, so no more wood rot. So that's ready to paint, but over here I still have to cut a new board for in there. One other detail, you'll notice if you look real close, you see this board is sticking out a little bit. So I use my chop saw, cut a little bit off of that, and now got a perfect alignment there. That's just absolutely perfect. So on to the next step. 16 5/8. My Bosch jigsaw. Again, I got this 35 years ago when I worked in a high-end custom cabinet shop in Boston. And again, this was state-of-the-art at the time. Okay, that's all good. Now, up here, look at me. Now in assembling this, I'm going to use window putty, as I've mentioned many times. What a lot of people don't know about window putty is you need linseed oil to use it properly. Even when you're doing windows, you wipe it with linseed oil, and that makes the stuff a lot more workable, and it sticks to where you want it to stick to better. I don't know why they don't teach you that. But so I got to get some linseed oil. I thought I had some. I don't have any. Plus, I just soon let this dry up overnight. That's been sitting out in the weather for a long time. There is one more step I can take right now that I'm going to take, which is to make the joint between these two boards. Ever heard of biscuits? Didn't know you use biscuits for woodworking, did you? Okay, so we'll make a mark here. And we'll make a mark here. Okay, and I'm also going to make one over here. Yeah, that will do it nicely. Okay, now we get my biscuit hole making, and we'll get my router that I bought 35 years ago when I was working in a high-end custom cabinet shop, and it was state-of-the-art at the time. This is a biscuit. It is made of compressed wood, and it goes into a slot cut in each board, and this is the router bit for cutting the slot for the biscuit. Now, Biscuit Company sells a fancy machine for end cutting, but you just get one of these bits and put it in your router, and it runs on a bearing, and you put it in, and you'll see, and then you put the biscuit in, and the glue expands it, and it gets real firm, and it's as good as solid wood. So here's my Hitachi router. Now the idea is you want to cut that slot in the end of the wood about halfway down. It's not critical as long as you go from the same side for each piece. There we go, that's good. Okay, and what you do is you got your line there, and you use your spindle here on that line to see how much. You don't want to just zoom a whole line across, you just want to make a slot for the biscuit. It's going to get loud. Perfect for this size biscuit. It's just a straight shot in. I got one more slot in here to do. This this is going back to what I said in the first place a long time ago, that I'm not going to put any hardware holding this stuff together. I'm going to use wood. So this is what I was talking about. I just need one in here. There we are. I'm lining up with the line that I drew on there. Okay. Okay, and done. Okay, so let me show you. Put the biscuit in here, and then move it all up, and then put the biscuit in there, and voila, you got your joint. That's how that works. So that's it. The wood's all prepared, and everything's done except the assembly. Which, like I said, I want to get some linseed oil first. So, and even if I go get that now, I think by the time I get back, I've done enough for today. So there you go. Happy day to you, and see you tomorrow for assembly. Tomorrow's going to be another good day, so see you tomorrow for assembly.